Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2 and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this afternoon. Now, for this afternoon, we are going to go ahead and get into Lies My Teacher Told Me by James Lowen. Currently, right now, we are in chapter number 2, 1493. The True Importance of Christopher Columbus. Now, for this take that we're in right now, we're in take number 14, okay? So I'm not going to hold you too long. It's going to be about 10, maybe 15 minutes at the longest for this read. So are you ready for it? You're ready for it? Okay, let's go ahead and get into this read. These vast changes were given the term the Columbian Exchange in 1972 by Alfred W. Crosby Jr. In his book of that title, in the 1990s, the term caught on owing to the quincentenary. Not one textbook in my original sample told of these geopolitical implications of Columbus' encounter with the Americas. But gradually, the concept seeped into American history textbooks. Today, most books credit American Indians with having developed important crops. Authors also recognize the Europeans and Africans brought disease as well as livestock to the Americas. The two-way flow of ideas, however, still goes unnoticed, especially from west to east. Instead, Eurocentrism blinds textbook authors to contributions to Europe, whether from Arab astronomers, African navigators, or American Indian social structure. By operating within a limited viewpoint, our history textbooks never invite us to think about what happened to reduce mainland Indian societies, whose wealth and cities awed the Spanish, to the impoverished peasantry they are today. They also rob us of the chance to appreciate how important American Indian ideas have been in the formation of the modern world. Thus, they keep students from understanding what caused the world to develop as it has, including why Europe and its extension, the United States, Canada, etc., won. Some people have attacked the portrait of Columbus presented here as too negative. But I am not proposing that we should begin courses of American history by crying that Columbus was bad and so are we. Textbooks should show that neither morality nor immorality can simply be conferred upon us by history. Merely being part of the United States without regard to our own acts and ideals does not make us moral or immoral beings. History is more complicated than that. Again, we must pause to consider, who are we? Columbus is not a hero in Mexico, even though Mexico is much more Spanish in culture than the United States, and might be expected to take pride in his hero of Spanish history. Why not? Because Mexico is much more Indian than the United States, and Mexicans perceive Columbus as white and European. No sensible Indian person, wrote George P. Horse Capture, can celebrate the arrival of Columbus. Cherishing Columbus is a characteristic of white history, not American history. Columbus' conquest of Haiti can be seen as an amazing feat of courage and imagination by the first of many brave empire builders. It can also be understood as a bloody atrocity. I don't know if I said that correctly. I don't think I did, y'all. But I'm going to spell it for you. Atrocity. Atrocity. Possibility. That left a legacy of genocide and slavery that endures in some degree to this day. Both views of Columbus are valid. Indeed, Columbus, important in history, owes precisely to his being both a heroic navigator and a great plunderer. If Columbus were only the former, he would merely rival Leif Erikson. Columbus' actions exemplify both meanings of the word exploit, a remarkable deed, and also a taken advantage of. The worshipful biographical vignettes of Columbus provided by most of our textbooks serve to indoctrinate students into a mindless endorsement of colonialism that is simply inappropriate in today's post-colonial era. In the words of the historian Michael Wallace, the Columbus myth allows us to accept the contemporary division of the world into developed and underdeveloped spheres as natural and given, rather than a historical product issuing from a process that began with Columbus' first voyage. We understand Columbus and all European explorers and settlers more clearly if we treat 1492 as a meeting of three cultures. Africa was soon involved, rather than a discovery by one. And overall, rather than a discovery by one. And several of the new books do this. The term New World is itself part of the problem, for people have lived in the Americas for thousands of years. The Americas were new only to Europeans. Discover is another part of the problem. For how can one person discover what another already knows and owns? Good question, huh? Textbook authors are struggling with this issue, trying to move beyond colonialized history and Eurocentric language. Boorstin and Kelly began their first chapter with the sentence, "The discovery of America," by which they mean Columbus's, was the world's greatest surprise. 5 pages later, the authors tried to take back the word. It was only for the people of Europe that America had to be discovered. Millions of Native Americans were already here. Taking back words is ineffectual. However, Boorstin and Kelly's whole approach is to portray whites discovering non-whites rather than a mutual, multicultural encounter. Indeed, one moment, there is an alarm going off, so I'll be right back. Let me go turn that alarm off. All right, thank you for your patience. And I'm back. And we were talking about the taking back the words is ineffectual. However, Boorstin and Kelly's whole approach is to portray whites discovering non-whites rather than a mutual multicultural encounter. Indeed, they are so Eurocentric that they don't even notice they left out the people of Africa and Asia from their sins, a people who had yet to discover America. The point isn't idle. Words are important. They can influence and in some cause rationalized policy. In 1823, Chief Justice John Marshall of the U.S. Supreme Court decreed that Cherokees had certain rights to their land in Georgia by dint of their occupancy, but that whites had superior rights owing to their discovery. How American Indians managed to occupy Georgia without having previously discovered it, Marshall neglected to explain. The process of exploration has itself typically been multiracial and multicultural. African pilots helped Prince Henry's ship captains learn their way down the coast of Africa. On Christmas Day, 1942, Columbus needed help. Saint Maria ran across off Haiti. Santa Maria ran aground, excuse me for that word, ran aground off Haiti. Columbus sent for help to the nearest Arawak town, and all the people of the town responded with very big and many canoes. They cleared the decks in a very short time. Columbus continued, and the chief caused all the goods to be placed together near the palace until some houses that gave us where all might be put and guarded had been emptied. On his final voyage, Columbus shipwrecked on Jamaica, and Arawaks there kept him and his crew of more than 100 alive for a whole year until Spaniards from Haiti rescued them. And I'm going to actually end this take right there for take number 14. Now on take number 15, we are going to go ahead and finish up chapter 2. Yes, that is correct. We're going to finish up chapter 2 with take number 15, and then we'll certainly go ahead and go into chapter 3. And I'll give you a preview of what chapter 3, the title, is going to be about. The truth about the first Thanksgiving. All right, and I do thank you for tuning in and for listening to take number 14 with this read here on Poem Praise 2. If you like, hit the like button, share, or subscribe, or do both if you like. And again, I do thank you. Now, I want for you to be well, to take care, to be blessed, be safe too. Now, it beeth thy will. I'll talk with you soon here on Poem Praise 2. So, until next time, later, y'all.